Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is now February 7th of 2020, and a lot of fans around the world have been very curious about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm and exactly where it's going. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film has everything to do with, of course, the culmination of the Skywalker saga. It's also the very foundation of new Star Wars lore, developed by J.J. Abrams, such as the Sith Eternal, Palpatine's resurrection, and everything related to, of course, the world of Exegol. That was really the key to really introducing new Sith lore as well into the Star Wars franchise. Now, everything related to the Rise of Skywalker, we do know that this movie had a very tough production. In case you guys did not know, Kathleen Kennedy talked about this, Bob Iger, Mary Ann Brandon, Chris Terrio, J.J. Abrams. They went through so many different changes and adjustments, and the initial cut of this movie was 4 hours and something minutes long. 4 hours and 20-something minutes long, to be exact. Kind of like with The Last Jedi, which was like in or around 3.5 hours, as Rian Johnson stated at one point in time 2 years ago, give or take. You can see where it really had a lot of potential to really explore everything related to the characters of Kylo, Rey, Anakin, and more. The one controversial piece of Episode 9, I would have to say, is of course the final line of the movie where Rey states who she is, and how she says that she is Rey Skywalker to the Traveler on Tatooine. And that's the thing here, is that that's one problem that I really had with Episode 9, and I'm sure it's a problem that a lot of you guys out there had as well. Now, what's really intriguing is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are moving on to their new Star Wars universe, as well as their new Star Wars trilogy of films for the future of the franchise. However, Disney and Lucasfilm had a very tough production for Episode 9 during its principal photography stage, and that many of George Lucas's scenes were cut from the film. It's explained that originally George Lucas had an ending that was partially filmed, where Rey was not Rey Skywalker, but remained as the granddaughter of Palpatine and only chose the name Rey. Meanwhile, Ben Solo was intended to become Ben Solo Skywalker at the end of the film, while making a sacrifice to save Rey against Palpatine, with his Force Ghost intended to appear on Tatooine in George's version. Now, this was changed because of Kathleen Kennedy, and that the concept of Rey Skywalker is something that George Lucas was very frustrated over for the film, where it's noted that George Lucas did not like the idea of Rey Skywalker and didn't approve of it when it was brought to his attention during the rewrites. It's noted that both George and Kathleen had creative differences on who should become the new Skywalker at the very end of the movie, and that Kathleen Kennedy wanted Rey to become the new Skywalker and pressured the idea on J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio during the rewrites and the reshoots. Now, it's explained that originally George Lucas was also going to have Rey rebuild the Jedi Order and build the Jedi Temple at the world of Tatooine, with Ben Solo's Force Ghost voice reaching out to her in the segment of the film to give fans a tease of the new Jedi Order. This was, however, cancelled by Kathleen Kennedy, where it's noted that Disney is getting ready to start the new Star Wars universe with stories about Rey Skywalker and her children that will introduce new Skywalkers to the new expanded universe by Disney. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, because we do know that a lot of this played a role into why George was not at the premiere of Episode 9. I don't know if you guys knew this, but at the premiere of Episode 9, George Lucas was absent. He was nowhere to be found, and a lot of fans were very confused as to why George was not at the biggest event when it came to Star Wars history, the final film of the Skywalker saga of all movies. George was not there. So a lot of these creative differences played a role into George not wanting to attend there. There's been a lot of talk also that apparently he wasn't even invited. I'm not quite sure about that. But everything related to George Lucas here, of how he did not approve of the concept of Rey Skywalker, it only shows us that George wanted something more for the character of Ben Solo, who is a Skywalker by blood, and he originally wanted to make him Ben Solo Skywalker to have it stay true somewhat to the EU, and to actually pay respect to the EU version of Luke's son, Ben Skywalker. So you can see what they were trying to do there originally, and Kathleen Kennedy did not agree with that idea. I don't know about you guys, but I think that this would have been a better decision by Disney and Lucasfilm and George to actually have Ben Solo become the Skywalker and to actually rise as the new one. To me, I think it would have made more sense because he's related to Luke, Leia, and Anakin, and it just would have been more fitting to me personally. So the last thing I just want to actually tap into here real quick is that we do know that at the very end of this movie, Ben Solo's fate was left very ambiguous. And what I mean by that is, did he become a Force ghost? Did he not become a Force ghost? Is he in the worlds between worlds? Is he a part of Rey's spirit? What's really going on with Ben Solo? J.J. Abrams intentionally, as well as Kathleen Kennedy, wanted to make that ambiguous because they are planning for Ben Solo's return in the new Star Wars universe. Of course, this is primarily going to be in the form of an animated TV series, as well as books, novels, and comics, and more to come in the near future. So, anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.